What's up, everyone? Kind of give everybody a second if anybody's online to see what's going on, but I've been wanting to talk about a couple things that have been on my mind lately after reading an article and kind of just discuss a little bit to kind of give people an idea of what the daily lifestyle stuff of someone living with a spinal cord injury, what we have to deal with. But a lot of it, the big part of it is that it's living with a spinal cord injury it's not a job. It's not really considered that, but it feels like it because of how much there's a lot of stuff that we deal with on a daily basis that people don't understand, or just because you don't think about it. But I read an article about something called SCI Burnout, Spinal Cord Injury Burnout, and pretty much falls along the same lines as being just like overworked at a regular job. And so I guess like the World Health Organization defines it as like stress caused by a person's job or workplace, and your usual symptoms are like energy depletion, just feeling negative or having a lot of cynicism towards one's job. And the biggest thing is that a lot of people in a wheelchair, we're dealing with anywhere from 20 to 30 hours a week of stuff that we deal with that you wouldn't deal with unless you were in a wheelchair dealing with a spinal cord injury or something along the same lines. So it's basically, for me, was trying to work out the math. It's anywhere from 20 to 25 hours a week of stuff that I have to do on top of everything that I do with my full-time job as a welder. And there's no escape of from the daily grind of living with a spinal cord injury. You've got pain, spasms, people who are like quads or have other issues besides what you're dealing with. They've got nurses coming in, programs in the morning, accessibility issues, and then dealing with insurance. It's pretty much a never-ending thing all day, every week. And just kind of give you an idea, I have been asleep on the couch for the last 6 hours with Liv, basically just asleep on her shoulder. And that's because I don't sleep worth shit anymore. I probably have a solid 3 hours of sleep all night, 4 hours of sleep, and it's pretty much broken up the entire time from legs spasming or just can't get comfortable or something's hurting. And a lot of people deal with job stress or just stress in general by going on vacation. And vacation for us in a wheelchair is kind of a dread feeling because the wheelchair is the only way for us to get around. And traveling with airlines or just in general, if something happens, the airlines don't give a shit about your wheelchair. So it's getting thrown around, shit gets broken. The first time I ever flew, I broke a side guard, which doesn't really matter, but it's still, they're $150 a set to buy a new set for your wheelchair. So, if you break your chair or they break your chair, then this is a big battle between you and them, and a lot of times lawyers getting involved in everything to get you a new wheelchair. And most people don't have access to a spare one because we only get a new one through insurance every 5 years if your insurance cooperates with you. The other stress about it is finding accommodations that are accessible. Most hotels are. A lot of people now, I've seen some Airbnbs for people traveling that have some pretty sweet setups for people in wheelchairs and stuff. So, but the burnout feeling is pretty inevitable. I've only been in a wheelchair for just a little bit over 3 years, and in the last year, it's been kicking my ass. Shoulders, arms, everything about it. It's just really difficult sometimes to even want to get out of bed. I mean, for me, I'm up at 4:45, and it takes me about an hour, probably an hour and a half to get ready in the mornings, just to deal with everything I have to deal with being in a chair. And then from there, it's, then getting into your car is an ordeal. Get in, take apart your chair, put it in the car, drive 45 minutes to work, then another few minutes to get out of the car, putting your stuff together. And it's just, I'm in and out of my car 4 to 6 times a day. So the chair gets taken apart and put back together 4 to 6 times a day. So that alone, just getting in and out of your car, is just even more stress on the body and your shoulders and your arms and your back and everything else. And most of us pretty much just push through it, and it works short term to just push through it, but inevitably it catches up to you, and other people around you, especially able-bodied, if you want to call it that. I don't really care, but people who aren't in a wheelchair just need to understand and be aware of the stresses that you deal with as a wheelchair user, because we already have a lot of challenges that very few people understand. And managing my full-time job on top of my injury, and then trying to participate in other activities, like even just going to the gym. I used to go to the gym every single day, and since I've started working, my job, it's not really that it's labor intensive, it's just that I'm using my arms 24 hours a day as it is. So then you go to work for 10 hours a day. So I work 4 10s, so I go to work all day, and I'm a welder, so I'm using my arms all day. And when I get home, I'm completely burned out. So then it's just eat a quick dinner and go to sleep, and then back at it. But it makes it really difficult to want to get to where you're at, and then it just leads to what everybody calls the burnout period, I guess. But it's just important to know. So I read all this from a guy that posted it in a group that I'm in, but he was saying that it's important to know that the challenges we face are real, and that it's okay to acknowledge the stress we feel is real, because it's not just physical pain or anything like that, but like mentally you get to your wit's end where you just don't want to deal with the bullshit of being in the chair. So that's when it leads to you pushing on or just trying to push through it, and then bam, you hit a wall and you're burned out. And to cap all that off, I managed to break a very expensive backrest the other day, about a week ago. I leaned back in my chair a little bit to do a weld over my head, and I heard this loud crack, and I actually managed to get one of the screws to start pulling out of a carbon fiber backrest that's about a $900 backrest. But luckily, I called up the company that makes them, and they actually sent me out a brand new one without even questioning it, so that was pretty cool. And that's why I tagged you, Devin. Probably one of my best friends, his name's Devin Davis. He had an accident snowboarding. I think he was 16, right, Devin? And he broke his back a little bit lower. And after, I think he was in a chair for over a year, and then he started sketchy walking. And now, unless you really know spinal cord injuries, you'd never know that Devin's had ever broken his back. He looks like a normal dude. But from where he injured himself down, he can't feel a thing. So he has full use of everything below him, but he can't feel it. So he's just kind of hovering around everywhere. And, most people would be like, oh, well, suck it up. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. He's still dealing with pain, spasms, tone, sleeplessness, and I don't know if it's just part of a spinal cord injury, but just anxiety. I get it a lot, and it's a big deal. So people see it and they're like, oh, well, you can walk. Well, yeah, but he can walk, but he's still dealing with all the bullshit that we're dealing with. Even as I'm in a chair, he has the same issues as me or anybody else in a chair. So it's not that being an incomplete injury is both, I guess it's like a blessing and it's like the lesser of two evils, but it's still a pain in the ass. And but luckily I got that backrest figured out. But I'm going to try out, I actually decided to hit up GNC and pick up some supplements. I got some protein, some amino acids, and this stuff called SST Cleanse, which just kind of helps. Something that people with spinal cord injury deal with a lot of too is just bowels. Everything moves slower, so your whole body, it's just on autopilot from your injury down. And everything's still working, it's just it could be slower. And if you're not eating, the same exact things every single day, it can get just slow. So I just picked up a bunch of stuff to try to help with recovering after working all day, and to keep the arms strong and shoulders strong, because the last thing I want to deal with is having a shoulder replacement when I'm about 30, or have some issue where I get injured and then I can't work, or I can't keep pursuing this, the racing career that I want, and which is actually, we remember the last video I postponed it till February because they started getting snow already in Finland. And it's just been something that's been really kicking my ass lately, is being burned out, and just the trying to get yourself pushed and motivated and up every day and back at it is really starting to take its toll. Like, I couldn't even keep my eyes open today. I was literally asleep for 6 hours laying on live on the couch, and I didn't get anything done until just now when I decided to finally get this live out of the way and kind of let people in on that whole topic of SCI burnout. And there was one other thing I was going to talk about too, is the fundraising site that we were using decided to basically stop their USA portion of their thing. So they're shutting down my campaign that we started. All the money is getting sent, so there's no worry there. Everything that we've raised so far, they're taking their 2% or whatever that every company does, and then all the rest will be sent over to me to be deposited. So what we ended up doing was creating a new one just through your standard GoFundMe, and I'll post a link to that in the comments so everybody can see, and I'll post it on my page as well to update everything. But that was kind of a bummer because we were on a roll. We were over halfway there, and then they decided to shut down their United States portion of the fundraising campaign. So I started a new one. It's all through GoFundMe. Should be quick and easy, just like it was with all the other stuff. So I'll throw the link up there. And but yeah, I just wanted to give everybody kind of a inside look on spinal cord injury burnouts and the part-time to full-time job that a lot of us are dealing with on the side or on top of what we're already doing. So yeah, I hope everybody's had a good weekend so far, and I'm gonna be probably just getting a little bit of food, and then I'm going to bed because I don't know if you can tell, but I look like I've been up for about 3 days straight. So thanks everybody for jumping in and seeing everything, and I'll come and touch base again on probably Wednesday. Thanks everybody. See ya.